Almost. Major. Holy fucking shit, this is major! Being that we're talking about Strangeland, which features the great acting talents of Dee Snider, what are some of your favorites or just more infamous musicians as actor roles? Charlie, do you have an example that you would like to share with the group?
I mean, Purple Rain's an obvious choice, but why do you ask me first? Shit. We were like, oh, this prompt. Oh wait, now I actually have to.
Bryden, vamp for him, vamp.
Yeah.
Like, come up with a. I mean, yeah. I mean, I shamefully have not seen Purple Rain. I don't know that much Prince music, to be honest. I feel like that's like a huge gap in my my music fandom.
We can help you with that.
Yeah,
I'm sure Kevin
Prince
at least can help you with that.
The thing is, Prince is probably my favorite artist, and Purple Rain is perfectly fine. Like, when it's not him performing, it's kind of rough. I haven't seen his other two movies, which is a big blind spot for me, but yeah. So yeah. Charlie, whenever you're ready to talk about...
I mean, I feel so stupid, but Sharon Moonstruck, for one.
Oh, Jesus.
Sharon Moonstruck she's a fucking star in that movie. I love that movie so much. I think she's great in it. She's great in Mask. Cher's a great actress. Madonna can be good or bad depending on the movie, but she's fantastic in an underseen Abel Ferrara film called Dangerous Game, where she's basically the actress stuck in Harvey Keitel's very John Cassavetes or Abel Ferrara type of like independent film, and it's certainly rough at times, but she's phenomenal in that. Yeah, trying to think.
So you can say Brandy, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer anytime you want.
I have not seen. Wait, wasn't she only in the sequel? Yeah, okay. I didn't see I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I did see Temptation: Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
That movie. I just talked about that movie with somebody recently.
Oh my goodness.
A long conversation too.
I mean, there's a lot of movie in that movie. It's the only Tyler Perry movie I've seen. But, boy. Oh,
there's a lot of movie. There's a lot of movie in that movie.
Please describe. I know nothing about this movie. I need to be taught.
Oh, Mary Beth, you were just talking about it. Do you want to enlighten us?
All I can really remember is it's basically a woman's husband cheats on her, and he's actually gay, and then he gives her AIDS, and she has...
Oh! Is this the one that...
Yeah.
I think we were talking about where it ends, where like he's like the one giving her the prescription for it? And like...
Yeah, she cheats on him, and then she gets AIDS as a result. Also, her husband is a pharmacist. Yeah, and also her husband is... Oh, sorry, no.
I think that's the plot of another Tyler Perry movie. The one that
one of my favorite parts of that movie is one of the factors that she just uses as a way to convince herself to cheat on her husband is he's a pharmacist and he forgets her birthday 2 years in a row, which I have to go to the pharmacy every month, and literally the second question is, what's your date of birth? So...
Yeah. Oh my gosh. A movie that we will be talking about fairly recently, DMX is pretty fantastic, and Billy, I can't say the same for Nas, but...
Yes.
Bryden, do you have a choice that you would contribute?
I mean, it's kind of a basic pick because it's like more of a it's like recency bias, I guess. But I really loved Alana Haim's performance in Licorice Pizza. I'm not.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, I'm not super. I haven't listened to a lot of Haim's music beyond Summer Girl. That's like the one single I remember hearing, and I think I did listen to that song because the video was directed by PTA when it came out a few years ago. But I really like her performance in that movie. Just like the way where she is like kind of like snarky and biting and everything, but then there will be moments where she will like try to seem casual, and like the forced nature of it is really good. I mean, the scene where she's like flirted with by Skylar Gazondo on the plane or whatever, and he's like, the end or whatever, and then she's like charmed, like she's sort of just like leaning out like as like expecting like some sort of like trying to like play it off like she's not like totally like swooning for this guy or anything. I mean, there's like so many great physical gestures in that performance, and I really would like to see her do other stuff because that's a very promising performance based on that.
Very surprised by that.
She's amazing in that movie.
Also, Bryden, listen to Haim's first album. It's pretty good.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
I will be basic and say probably my favorite musician performance is Justin Timberlake in Social Network. He's really good.
That's a great
Either
one.
that or Dwight Yoakam in Panic Room. It's got to be one of them.
Oh, he's so scary in
He's
Panic
so
Room.
fucking scary. Mary Beth, do you have any?
Yes, I have two. I have Ludacris from the entire Fast and the Furious. I know he's not a star, but technically, I will say Ludacris. He is one of my favorite parts of the Fast and Furious franchise. I consider
Of course.
him an important part of it. And then this is a basic bitch thing, but Lady Gaga on A Star Is Born. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but she fucking kills it in that movie.
I feel the same way.
Like, I usually am not that kind of I don't like that kind of movie a lot of the time, and like it wasn't my favorite, but I cried like a baby, and she's such a good performer. Like, I loved it. That's
Right.
What did you think of her in House of Gucci?
I did not see House of Gucci yet. I have not seen it. I just make fun of her accent, even though I haven't seen it. And I feel bad.
Oh no, it's fair. I think she's awesome, but she is doing Kill Moose and Squirrel a lot of the time. Like,
Wow.
Oh, and of course, damn, Fincher gets fucking music. He also Meatloaf's in Fight Club. Jesus. Bjork, Dancer in the Dark. Come on.
oh my god, where is my mind?
I just watched that a couple weeks ago.
Are you doing? Are you doing all right?
Have you recovered?
No. I think I have. Then all of a sudden I think about it again, and I'm like, it's like a jump scare in my own brain.
Oh yeah. And she's finally coming back to acting. She's gonna be in the Northman.
I know.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
so I'm just gonna be a fucking creepy ass Nordic witch. I'm so excited.
Same.
Welcome to Almost Major, the podcast where we talk about many major studios and the films they released. Today we were talking about Strangeland from 1998. My name is Kevin Tudor. I'm here with my co-host Bryden Doyle.
Hello.
And Charlie Nash.
Hey.
And we have a very special guest from the Scarred for Life podcast from Dread Central. It's Mary Beth McAndrews. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I just today I listened to your Carrie podcast, the episode you had on that. Yes. And the Blair Witch Project one, because that's my favorite movie, and I was like, I need to. There's got to be some found footage on here so I can hear Mary Beth go wild.
And you heard this. If you've heard the story I tell a million times that I live and grew up like 40 minutes from Burkittsville, Maryland, etc., etc. Yeah.
Terrifying. Okay.
Terrifying. Yeah, it made me terrified to go camping all of the time when I was a kid.
No. No, I'm good. I'm good. Strangeland 1998, of course, I'm very surprised it did not go to Cannes. I don't know why. Released in U.S. October 2nd, 1998. It's a limited release of 315 theaters, and it came in at 18th place. Top 5 that week was Ants, What Dreams May Come, Rush Hour, A Night at the Roxbury, and Ronin.
I think I've told this story before, but Ants is the first movie I saw in theaters as a kid that I didn't like, and I cried.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, because I always thought Ants was a fake movie. For the longest time, I did not think Ants was real. I thought I just was having a fever dream about a Bug's Life. And then
Yeah. It came out like months before A Bug's Life, I remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't Woody Allen the main
Yep.
main ant?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's like Woody Allen and Jennifer Lopez, pretty much.
It's also horrifying. They like go to war with termites,
It's
and it's like
it's so
Yeah.
scary.
There's a magnifying glass that fries them in one scene. I'm just like, yeah. I just remember being so upset by that movie as a kid, and it wasn't even like I was terrified of it, and that's why I hated it. I was just like, was the first time when I was 7 or 8 where I was like, I don't think this is good.
Wait, movies are bad. What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't like
guys,
this.
Movies are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one certainly is. Ugh. Oh, boy.
We're going to talk about a classic. I don't know what Charlie's talking about. Number one song in the U.S. this week was "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing." I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith, of course. And
I Don't Want to Miss a Plane.
that's what. Yeah. And number one song in Canada was "Crush" by Jennifer Page. I do not know the song. Bryden, do you know the song?
Jennifer Page, Crush. I've never heard that song. But
I looked it up on YouTube and I listened to it and I was like, nope, haven't heard it. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I haven't heard this, so it ain't good. Like, I just never have. I was definitely bumping "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith when I was like 6 when that came out, but not Crush. I was not doing
song,
that.
That Aerosmith song was like a staple at like school dances, like even like 15 years after it came
Oh,
out.
it was mine.
Yeah.
It was mine. I had a girlfriend who lived in a separate town from me, so we had 2 separate proms, and that was a slow song both times. Both times.
Nothing says romance like slow dancing to a song about Aerosmith. A song that Aerosmith is singing, specifically Steven Tyler, about his daughter having sex with somebody.
With Ben Affleck.
With Ben Affleck.
Also, like, I'm pretty sure when that scene plays during the movie before the end credits, he's like stuffing animal crackers into her underwear, and then she looks at him and is like, do you think anyone else is doing the exact same thing as us right now? Like,
Oh, she pulls the Garden State on him? Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I need to watch. I have not seen the early Michael Bay's. I was too busy watching Strangeland. Strangeland has a budget of $1.1 million. Opening weekend it made $373,000. Domestic gross of $630,000. And an overall gross of $700,000. I found 2 different worldwide numbers, but somewhere around there, $500,000.
Either way, this movie's gross. I mean,
Hey, oh my God.
Dear God.
Strangeland is about, I do my best not to read these because they are always so weirdly written out. Strangeland is about a pierced and tattooed sadist, hell yeah, Captain Howdy, played by Dee Snider. He trolls the internet for naive teens, luring them to his house to torture and defile them. While Howdy... Are we on a last name basis? While Howdy kidnaps and tortures the daughter of police detective Mike Gage, played by Kevin Gage, he is caught. Deemed insane, he is sent to an asylum but released soon after, seemingly better. However, Gage knows it's only a matter of time before Howdy strikes again, and he is ready to unleash his own form of retribution when the time comes. That's a lie. He does nothing this whole movie. He just like sulks and just like, oh yeah, I have a wife, I forgot. Directed by John Pieplow. Prior to this, he wrote and directed a TV movie in 1996 called Jurassic Women, and he did nothing else after that. Written by Dee Snider, of course, the lead singer of Twisted Sister, is starring Kevin Gage as Mike Gage. Prior to this, he was in Heat in 1995. After this, he's in Blow and Knock Around Guys in 2001. And I found out he went to... What, is Knock Around Guys funny, Bryden? Huh?
Yes, I found that funny. That's like one of the notable roles after Strangeland.
Knock Around Guys. I'm going to watch it because I think that's a movie where they try to make like Seth Green serious. And I'm like, that's not going to work. But Kevin Gage went to jail from 2003 to 2006 for growing weed despite owning a medical marijuana license, which is really fucked. Elizabeth Pena as Tony Gage. The same year, she's in Rush Hour in 1998, Jacob's Ladder in 1990. After this, Tortilla Soup in 2001, and I did not know she passed away in 2014.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
She's also great in Lone Star.
That's a great
yeah.
movie.
On sales film. Yeah.
Dee Snider plays Captain Howdy, and Linda Cardellini as Genevieve Gage. Prior to this, of course, she's in Good Burger in 1997, and Dead Man on Campus in 1998. After this, Freaks and Geeks in 1999, Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Hell yeah.
Green Book. Anyways, trivia.
Green Book. Sorry, I know you already said that earlier, but I'm just.
It's like in her Letterboxd top 4, which is super depressing.
Yeah, that's really sad.
She's also been like on, what is it? Dead to Me, her and Christina Applegate.
Yeah,
she was on Mad Men. She's like
ER and Bloodline.
She's great on Mad Men.
Yeah, she works.
short trivia that I have, Dee Snider mentioned that filming the scenes with Carlton Hendricks, which is Captain Howdy's real name, rehabilitated and wearing a cardigan were the hardest parts of the movies to shoot. Snyder hated wearing the cardigan. Okay. This is an obvious one, but it might be.
He's so twisted.
Yeah!
Wear a cardigan. Yeah. Sorry.
This fits me. I hate it.
You're fine.
Captain Howdy is the name of the entity Reagan talks to in The Exorcist. Yeah. This movie is based loosely on the Twisted Sister song Horteria from their album Stay Hungry from 1984. And like the chorus of that song goes like, watch out for Captain Howdy. Watch out for Captain Howdy. So that's pretty much based very loosely on that.
Here we go.
In this small town,
Check this guy out.
on this quiet street,
Now we can talk to him one-on-one.
an unspeakable evil is stalking the net.
What kind of name is Captain Howdy?
He found a series of symmetrically placed puncture wounds.
Accused Archer.
Welcome to my world, detective. Pain is a uniquely personal experience.
Oh God, please don't let this be happening.
My badge is a forever.
My badge represents the law.
There's nowhere to run. Daddy! There's no place to hide.
Find me.
He's got this town wired.
Gotta love this technology.
Kevin Gage,
Ready to come in?
Elizabeth Pena,
What have you done with my daughter?
Robert Englund,
Somebody's gotta take that boy out.
Dee Snider.
So much flesh, so little time.
The hunt has begun.
Wanna play ball, Scarecrow?
Strangeland.
Mary Beth as our guest. Please go with this movie. I was listening to your podcast. You said this is the best movie of 1998. I believe that's what you said.
No, I said it's the best movie of the 90s.
Okay. Podcasts are a visual medium you can't really see, but Mary Beth is actually in. Her background is just Captain Howdy's house right now. You know. Anyways, I'm sorry. Initial thoughts, please.
Bad. I had never even heard of this movie when you brought it to me, but I was excited. I was like reading some stuff about it. I was like, okay, late 90s slasher and that weird like torture, like pre-torture porn, BDSM, weird sadist. Like it's probably gonna be problematic. Fuck yeah, let's do like this weird problematic 90s.
Hell yeah.
Slasher. Like it'll either be really awesome or fucking terrible. And sadly, I thought it was fucking terrible. They try to give Captain Howdy this weird arc that makes no sense. Where like
None.
he's this
40
bad
minutes
guy.
in, he gets caught, and I'm like, what the fuck is the pacing of this movie?
So that's
I genuinely thought the movie was going to be over. Sorry to interrupt you, Mary Beth.
No, but I was so confused. And then they have him putting makeup concealer over his face tattoo in the most depressing. It's like in the funniest thing, like the funniest scene humanly possible. It's like a clown putting on makeup.
Yes,
like a sad
Yeah.
clown. And then it's just, they're trying to do way too much with something that doesn't have enough. And I also hated his soliloquies. I wanted to just like punch him. I wanted to sew his mouth shut. Because he would not stop talking about pain and the pleasure of pain were brought together. But I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like
Some say pain is bad, but pain can be good. I'm like, okay, you're like a low rent pinhead right now. I'm not liking this.
Yes, 10 minutes of him just talking about piercing a guy's penis, and it's like it's going to squirt. I'm like, what is this movie? It's so bizarre. I mean, I won't go too much further, but those are my initial thoughts. Bizarre, bad, too many weird soliloquies from a man that it looks like a joke.
I know, and they like try to conceal
Yeah.
his appearance for like so long, like it's a slasher killer or something like that. You don't want to see his face until like halfway through, and it's just like, oh, he just has piercings. Like that's.
As someone who has like facial piercings and tattoos, I was like, guys, are we really pulling this whole moral panic bullshit? Like, if you have like when they go to the club. and
Oh
they're
my
singing,
God.
Like,
Yeah.
there's a band being like heroin. She puts like the most obvious song about like heroin and doing drugs.
Yeah, I
everyone-
haven't been listening to that song. It's not cool. Yeah, sorry, had to.
It's just so funny, and like they're all in harnesses, and like this is what tattooed and pierced people like to do.
Hell
they're
yeah.
fucking crazy, and it's,
Yeah.
it's just such quintessential '90s moral panic about the dumbest shit. Like, look, he likes to hang by hooks. He's fucked up, and it's like, I guess so.
Right, and it feels so weird that this is coming written by D. Snyder. You think he would be like not as moral panicky about it? Like,
I think he probably thought he was saying something about like how we regard alternative communities, but he didn't do it at all. I don't think he made the point he thought he was making.
yeah, after I watched this, I'm pretty sure like a day or two later, I watched Fear.com for the first time. A lot of crossover there. A lot of the serial killer also doing a lot of soliloquies. Like I think there's a part where he's just like, what so and so said, death of one is a tragedy, but death of a million is a statistic. And I was like, shut up. Just just kill people and go on. Get out of here.
Isn't it Stephen Ray too, who's the killer in that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie's bad. It is not as bad as everybody says. Like bottom of the barrel.
I agree. It's bad, but it's not total trash.
Yeah.
That's all
I
I
remember
can
the
ask
last
for
15 the last 15 minutes I remember being pretty phantasmagoric, and what is this kind of way that was not boring?
I finally had to do it. I just had to do it. I was going to follow it up with Queen of the Damned, but I got sidetracked. Anyways, initial thoughts. I had seen this before. I think I'm the only loser here that had seen it before and weren't.
You had?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Of course. Come on, man.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying of course because a loser like me would have watched this in 6th grade and been like, wait, nobody else has seen Strangeland? And then they were just like, that guy's talking again, But yeah, I'd seen it before in 6th grade. I do not know how I felt back then. I'm sure I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, it's bad. I would probably give it a lower rating, but I'm sorry, even though how ridiculous that club scene is, I'm just like, I want to be there. That shit looks cool.
Well, okay, exactly. I'm like, I think you're trying to make me scared. I'm like, I'm trying to go party there.
Yes.
Like, they seem fun.
Yeah, like just all the needle drops. I posted on our Almost Major Twitter account where as soon as you put in the DVD, it's just D. Snyder with all these weird effects being like, look at the soundtrack, look at the people we got on this. We got Kid Rock, Twisted Sister, Snot, we got everybody. And I was like, yes! And he's like, wait until after the movie, I'm going to show some music videos. And I was like, oh man, we used to be so much better when we had DVDs like this. But
I miss them so much.
I know. I bought this movie for $8 brand new. I'm very upset. But yeah, it's bad, but goddamn, I have so much notes because this movie is ridiculous. And bring back chat rooms. Just do it. We were a better time.
No, they weren't. I got into too much trouble on chat rooms.
I know, but I think about chat rooms and I think about that amazing scene in Urban Legend when God, what's her name?
Danielle Harris, I think.
Danielle Harris, yes. Where she's like wearing all black and smoking and blasting, stabbing Westwood while she's on like gothforyou.com chat rooms. And I'm like, this rules, dude. But yeah, it's not good. I own it, unfortunately. Kevin Gage is like really fucking terrible in this. Like, really bad. I forgot that Amy Smart is in it, which is all of her scenes are very funny. Where she's just like, "You've never been online, man," and he's like, "What?" Yeah.
Say you like, are there any snowboarders in the chat?
Hell yeah. Oh, man.
I wrote one of her lines down that, you ever go online, Michael? It's pretty cool. You can email someone anywhere.
And yeah, I think he just goes like, yeah, I could also send a letter. And I'm like, cool. Okay.
Old man yells at Cloud, the movie. I swear to God.
He like tries to turn on the computer and he's like, fuck, what did I do? Like, anyways, this is like a bad Law and Order, I assume. Still have not seen Law and Order.
It is.
Okay.
Oh, it's like the worst possible episode of SVU. It's really terrible.
Would the spinoff be like Law and Order IM, like Law and Order Instant Message or something? Like, I'm trying to think of like what the acronym would be for like, the subtitle.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Digital crimes.
That sounds like that would have been a Quibi. Law and Order IM. Yeah. But yeah, I'll get more into it. Bryden.
Yeah, I had never seen this before. I thought it'd be kind of interesting because, like, I don't know a whole lot of Twisted Sister, but I'd heard, like, a couple of, like, the greatest hits, like, when I was, like, a kid, and was like, I'm just kind of curious on, like, passion projects, because, like, we said the director's name is John Pipelo, but when the movie starts, it says D. Snyder Strangeland. This is his passion project through and through. So I was curious, just, like, on that level, like, you know, whether, like, have kind of an interesting or distinctive mark to it, and it doesn't. It's just, like, atrociously made. I mean, there's, like, the pacing in this thing is only, like, 87 minutes long, but just, like, scenes, like, they don't know how to, like, cut them together. Like, I think it's after, like, Captain Howdy has, like, been hung up in the woods or whatever, and, like, he falls down, and I guess he's, like, regained his psychopathic persona or whatever, and, like, is back from the dead or whatever, but, there's, like, a minute-long scene of just, like, sunsets over the trees. Then there's the town sign, and then you see traffic lights changing colors, and I'm thinking, you could cut this all out. Just, like, cut to the new scene. I don't know what this adds to the movie's mood in any way. And, yeah, you're right, Kevin, that Kevin Gage, who I think is, like, I mean, he's really good in Heat as Wayne Grow. I mean, in a supporting role, but, like, he's very menacing and does have, like, kind of a weird sort of, like, charisma in that movie. But, like, here he's just, like, so asleep, and, like, the scenes that are really bad are, like, the one with, like, his partner who's played by Brett Harrelson, brother of Woody, which I found out after I saw the movie.
Okay.
But just, like, the scene where they're talking outside the vending machine is, like, the least dynamic conversation I've ever seen, where, like, it's literally, like, 10-second pauses between, like, each line of dialogue, and then, like, Brett Harrelson just, like, goes, like, leaves the frame and then comes back to the other side of the vending machine to say his next line. I'm just thinking, like, could we speed this up just a little bit? I don't know if they're trying to, like, add any kind of mood there, like with, like, the slowness or whatever, but it just, like, it doesn't work. And I don't want to, like, sound like I'm getting all, like, you know, like, up in arms about, like, the movie's violence, but, like, I was kind of put off by how, like, it seems like, I thought it was very weird with, like, the torture scenes where, like, the guy who gets, like, the piercing through his privates, like, gets, like, that's, like, tastefully shown, like, just out of frame, like, below the camera or whatever, but then, like, all the other tortures with, like, the women are, like, shown, like, in, like graphic detail. You see, like, the needles coming through the skin, but again, I feel like you're working some, like, upsetting shit out here and everything, but, like, the movie, like, doesn't seem like it doesn't, and, like, we were talking about, like, it seems like it's trying to say something about, like, you know, mob mentality, where, like, you know, like, a psychopath, like, being reintegrated into society and everything. How does everyone respond to that? And, you know, Kevin Gage dealing with, like, his moral quandary of, like, do I like protect my family or, like, respect my job as, like, an officer of the law and everything, like those are ideas that have been made into compelling movies. I mean, with, like, with that sort of, like, dilemma that the Kevin Gage character faces, I was sort of, Charlie, last night we were talking about Cape Fear, which, like, that movie, like, the whole movie is about, like, okay, I'm, like, as someone who has to, like, legally has to, like, you know, follow these rules and everything, but also this guy's, like, horrible and everything, and, like, sort of, like, making you question, like, your sympathies with, like, you know, the psychopath in that movie, and also, like, the sensible hero and everything. But that movie, I mean, that movie is, like, very well written and, like, stylishly directed, and also, like, long enough that it, like, actually gets into that. Whereas, like, Strangeland kind of just, like, drops these, like, you know, themes in, like, these themes in like an hour in, and kind of doesn't really know how to do with them. It's just sort of gesturing at them without really delving into them.
Cape Fear was not produced by the production company Snyder Than Thou Productions, so that's the difference. Yeah. Charlie?
Yeah, mirroring what everybody said. I really hated this. It's awful. It's offensive. I mean, like you, Mary Beth, I was kind of like, maybe this will be interesting in, like, a time capsule kind of way, you know, that type of thing. Because torture porn wasn't really a thing yet. I'd say Saw and Hostel kind of kicked that off. And I'm not opposed to torture porn by any means. Like, I think it can be really awful, like this one. But I do think there are even some movies, like, that force me to wrestle with what I'm watching. Like, I rewatched Wolf Creek for the first time in 15 years, and I wrestle with that movie a lot, but it's very effective, and, like, I think that they can, or even something like Devil's Rejects, I think there is something political going on there, but, like, or there's some sort of message, it has a sense of power that you can't deny, so I don't want to say that, like, torture porn as a genre should just be written off, but this is, like, the worst case example of it, where it's insanely misogynistic. And sorry,
well, no, I was gonna say, because, like, I love torture porn. Like, I think extreme horror is, like, a really fascinating thing. Like, I love New Frontier Extremity. I have, like, posters on my wall. Like, I love, extreme horror. But this isn't even that extreme. Like, I'm just gonna be that.
No.
I'm gonna be that person and be like, this wasn't shit. Like, this wasn't like you pierced a person's penis. I don't know. I feel like
and we don't even get to see it. Come on.
No.
Come on.
Like, I understand that this was like pre all that stuff, but at the same time, it's just like it's so tame comparatively, and it is just surface piercings. I know there are murders and he sews mouths shut, but it's a lot of like skin. It's a lot of surface piercing. But at the same time, it's also like he's preying on teenage girls. Like these are all there are some men, but they're mostly high school girls, poked and prodded and treated like shit, and it's just gross. And it is just like such a product of the 90s in a way. It's like it's the worst parts of 90s slashers and torture porn in one movie. It was like it was like that. It was almost like that one movie that had to be made to show the worst parts of both so we could move forward in the genres. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially
90s
slashers, which were pretty unanimously bad. Like some outliers, but 90s horror in general was like, it was a lot of like, we needed to get to the lowest point to rebirth ourselves with like Blair Witch and Sixth Sense and blah blah blah. But Charlie, go ahead.
Oh, I will also just say that like I felt so bad for Linda Cardellini in this movie, because she has one scene where she talks and she's on a chat room being very naive and very clueless. And then I also just love that, like, everything I need to know about this guy is in his profile right here. And it's just like, his quote is like, sup, where's the keg? Or something.
Where the keggers at? Like, where's the keg at? It's like,
What's his occupation though? Duh, student,
yeah. But like, other than that, like, just shots of her with her mouth sewn up. At one point, it's just this gratuitous shot of her pissing into like a box. It's awful. I felt terrible for her. Kevin Gage is really terrible. I mean, there's not even a shot in this movie where they like have a reaction to their daughter getting kidnapped. It like cuts to them as if they've like slept in and missed a flight. Like they genuinely don't seem concerned that their teenage daughter has been abducted. And I know that he goes into that whole, well, it's my job and I have to keep my cool. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, but you're not engaged like at all. Like, and on top of that, I thought it was bad to begin with, but then it becomes like New Metal Clockwork Orange halfway through, where I was just kind of like, what the fuck are you? Oh, this movie thinks it's trying to say something. And like we've all said, like, yeah, that actually made it more offensively bad to me, that it like thought that it was actually getting at something, where you're right, Mary Beth, like his whole philosophy is a bunch of gobbledygook. And like, yeah, I don't have any tattoos or piercings, but I'm pretty sure people love just, it's a form of control over your body, and I'm assuming, and like, that the fact that it's all just lingering in on pain and suffering, it's like, that's just really gross. Like, it's just this really dated like thing that's just it made me feel like awful. It actually made me pretty angry by the end of it, because I was not only bored, but was just like, even I don't know what this movie thinks it's doing, but everything about it is just gross in so many
That's
ways.
the worst sin it commits, is that it's boring. Like I got to the point, it got to the point where like I'm looking at my notes and I'm thinking like, I was like just kind of like riffing on the movie like in my own notes, like because I was so like bored. Like I'm thinking like in the scene when like after D. Snyder's like kidnapped Linda Cardellini again, like he's got like waiting on like the computer and everything, and then like Kevin Gage comes inside the house or whatever, like and he's like saying like, where is she? And then like he sees like the computer screen, and D. Snyder's like, we meet again or whatever. And I'm thinking, was D. Snyder like just waiting on that computer for like a few minutes, like just like waiting for Kevin Gage to come? Like, yeah, wait, okay, just wait. I can't talk to Elizabeth Pena right now. I need to just wait for your husband to get home. Just like chill here for a few minutes. Like I don't know.
I couldn't fucking believe she got kidnapped twice. I was in shock.
No. Like, because then it makes it the like, second time she gets kidnapped, you're just like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah. And also, poor Elizabeth Pena has nothing to do. She's a great actress. She was a great actress, and like, she just has to be the sad wife who just
she disappears like, for like 40 minutes, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's married. I forgot.
Well, I'm pretty sure she fled the set, and then they had to go get her. Like,
I thought if anyone was going to get kidnapped, I thought it was going to be Amy Smart, because she has more lines, I think, than Linda Cardellini.
She does.
I thought she was going to be such a bigger part of it. She like was like Miss Sleuth and like knew exactly what to do. I'm like, oh shit, she's next. She's gonna get caught, and then she disappears. I'm like, why are you bringing any of these people in to this movie? Like, what are you even doing? Yeah. I don't care about these like grumpy old white cops. Like, I want her movie about her being on the internet. I want her like Nancy Drew.
Yes.
My favorite scene of that movie is when it just cuts to them her telling them what to type in the chat room, and she goes, tinsel, comma, butt munch, period, tinsel bomb, exclamation point. And they're like, my God, this is a band. Like,
they're like, kids these days. And I'm like, what is happening? What is any of this?
Okay, I cannot wait to get to this plot, so let's get it started. 15-year-old Genevieve Gage and her best friend Tiana Moore are typical high school students, I don't know about that, in Helverton, Colorado, who spend their idle time chatting with strangers in chat rooms. After chatting with another apparent student who goes by the screen name of Captain Howdy, Genevieve and Tiana decide to attend a party at Captain Howdy's house, which is a trap. This movie starts with an internet dial-up tone, so I was like, God damn it, am I gonna love this movie?
I know. I wanted to. I was like, Screen Life forever! But...
Yes! But no. Captain Howdy asks if she likes hip-hop, and she goes, do I? I love it! Her screen name is Miss XXX151. I think her friend, she's like, wait, you're actually going to meet up with somebody? And then little Cardellini says, someday we will meet, marry, and have cyber sex with the men of our dreams online. As we already said, Captain Howdy's profile says that his occupation is student, and his favorite quote is, hey, bud, where's the kegger? So he invites her and her friend over to invite them to a party, blah, blah, blah. Back over here. When neither Genevieve nor Tiana return home by the next morning, Genevieve's mother, Tony, played by Elizabeth Pena, alerts her husband, local cop Mike Gage, played by Kevin Gage, with the assistance of a younger cop named Steve Christian, played by Brett Harrelson. Gage begins searching for Genevieve and Tiana. The case takes an unexpected turn when Tiana's car is pulled out of a lake with Tiana's tortured body inside and no sign of Genevieve. Back to my...
That scene goes on forever, by the way. It's like 10 minutes long, I swear to God. I was just like, what are you doing? Just spending, we know what's going to be in there.
I'm sorry, you don't want real time pulling a car out of a lake? Okay, you don't want realism.
This is also where we get some of, I don't know, there's a lot of new metal artists, as we were talking about on the soundtrack, but I feel like it's most prominently displayed in this scene where you hear Kid Rock blasting on, the tow truck driver's, truck, and then they tell him to shut it off and turn off the music.
Yeah, he's playing Fuck Off by Kid Rock, which Eminem has a verse on.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Do they also... I wrote down in my notes that, do they go to Tiana's house first, or is this Linda Cardellini's house where they go into a room and it has a sign that says, mean people suck?
That's in
Tiana's
car.
That's in Tiana's car, yeah.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, no, you're right, it's hanging from the rear view mirror.
I had something like that on my person as a high school student, almost.
Of course.
No, middle school student, pardon me. I definitely did.
That tells you everything you need to know about Tiana. She's a nice person.
Yeah.
Because she has mean people suck. Yeah.
Never change, Tiana. Never change.
Yeah.
I'm surprised her bumper didn't have that one sticker that's coexist, and it has all the religious symbols.
My God.
Yeah. We see Captain Howdy's house where he does pull-ups, my bad, while having a lot of to quote Mitch Hedberg, cranial accessories. While
he also has the Robert De Niro Cape Fear playing in the background as he's doing because isn't that the same thing that Robert De Niro?
Are you serious?
Really?
Isn't that Robert?
I missed it too.
No. I'm being completely.
God damn
I'm joking, but it's like the same. No, it's just the same thing that Robert De Niro does in all of his build-up scenes. Of he's buff, he does push-ups, he works out. He has a membership at the Y. I don't know.
Yeah. He does pull-ups while new metal blares, which perfect man. He has spiked teeth. He has spiked teeth. He's sewed up Cardellini's mouth shut. Mike Gage is a detective and he's on the case. Amy Smart shows up and asks if Mike has ever gone online, and she says, I've chatted with some killer guys. Her car, of course, has a mean people suck air freshener and a peace sign bumper sticker. The guy who's blasting Kid Rock is a facial piercing expert of some sort for some reason.
Oh my God, yes, my favorite boy. I have other things and interests as a way of life, bro. When they find the fucking nose ring in the back of the car.
Oh my God, he's like, welcome to my world. They're like, what world? He's like, the world of body art. And I'm like, you're not a person. Come on, you're not. Come on, get out of here.
The world of body art.
But then he gives him the lead to like the club where like a lot of is like where like there's like a lot of like people in like this sort of piercing and like heavy metal subculture. I think called Zabalba, which I think he explains translates to entrance to hell.
Hell yeah.
And then
isn't that
sorry, go ahead.
Isn't Sebulba? Oh no, I'm sorry. Isn't Sebulba also the pod racer in episode 1?
I was just gonna ask that question. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know who that guy is.
Yeah.
Is that the guy with the long neck and the really big goggles? Is that the guy?
Sebola.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
They spell it. You know what? Probably similar pronunciation. It looks like they spell it Sebulba for the Star Wars character. So
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Well, I know what George Lucas was doing in October '98. Mike discovers.
he saw Strangeland and was like, "Hold on, I need to just rename this character."
Why is he
the
pushing it
perfect
back?
name.
What's going on? Don't ask.
Perfect name for this villain in this subplot. Yeah.
Mike discovers that Captain Howdy, played by Dee Snider, is into body art, including significant tattooing, piercing, branding, and scarification. But it is not until Mike's niece, Angela, played by Amy Smart, informs him of Genevieve's penchant for meeting strangers through the internet, goddamn, that Mike gets his first lead. Meeting Captain Howdy online, Mike attempts to get Captain Howdy to invite him to a party. Despite the plan going awry, he later figures out Captain Howdy's location and finds his torture chamber. Hold on, back to the notes. We get a fucking metal concert performed by Bile. Yeah. Which takes place at a club named Zabalba, where body modification is legion, basically painting all the people here as criminals and killers, which is
real Soul Survivors vibes, as I think
Yeah.
I was talking about, what they call it, Kevin. Like where it's just like,
Yeah.
what's the edgiest stuff we can think of? People burning themselves with blowtorches and whipping each other. That's the edgy stuff. And then, like, the pacing of that scene also is just, like, so stupid where they just, like, walk to the club and then they get to the top. It's like, can't find this guy. Guess we should just leave. And then the scene
It makes
ends.
it has no reason to be there. It is like astonishing how like inconsequential that sequence is.
Yeah. Although I guess we do then, like, we go into like another room hidden behind a wall where you see like Dee Snider hanging like from like a hook or something. And
Hell
he's
yeah.
taken down
Yeah.
because like they think he's dead or whatever. It's like a whole crowd of people and then he's like saying, "I was almost there, crossing the abyss." Like he's trying to like reach.
I definitely thought he was like. I 100% thought he was like, I was about to come. I thought it was like some weird, gross thing about him like hanging there. And I was like, what is happening?
Why did y'all edge me? What's going on?
I was like, if that's where this movie is going, like, I'm kind of okay with it because it's fucking crazy, but it doesn't go that far. I guess
No. I thought the same thing where I'm like, is this going to be like a 90s new metal Martyrs or something? Like, I just was like, yeah.
Charlie, you've called this movie a new metal Clockwork Orange and a new metal Martyrs, which sounds so much cooler than the movie we got. But,
oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult your favorite genre.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can we also talk about, we've mentioned the dick piercing scene before, but can we talk about how it is the exact same sequence? It rips off Silence of the Lambs so hard where they think they're raiding Buffalo Bill's house.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
It is like to a T the same thing. I was astonished.
100%.
And then they act the house. It's awful. The sequence in Silence of the Lambs is brilliant.
Yeah.
This sequence is awful. And then the house that they end up unintentionally breaking into is an old couple having sex, and the guy's like, "My pills," because he has a heart attack.
That's what it seems bad.
That was my favorite part of the whole movie.
Oh,
Kidding, but I was like,
The fact that that's the stinger on that suspense scene is like a person like clutching their chest because they've been having too much sex. Like I'm thinking, you're like pacing this all wrong. Like it's
Let's see. Mike tries to boot up Genevieve's computer. He doesn't know how to do it. He asks Amy Smart to come down at the precinct to legitimately teach him how to talk to people on chat rooms. His name is Raids R Us. And like Charlie was saying, Amy Smart tells him to type tinsel butt much tinsel bomb. Computer nerd calls in and says the last person Genevieve's message was Captain Howdy. Mike's partner Steve is fucking giving the most stiff acting in the scene. I think he's like, "No, you're gonna tell me what's going." Yeah, that guy.
Also, Amy Smart says something along the lines of, "People like this guy. They think he's really cool." Like that's like that.
She says, "Ask if there's any snowboarders in the house." Captain Howdy invites Raves R Us to a party, and a SWAT team shows up. Captain Howdy's talking about dick piercing. They send him to the wrong house where they break in on an elderly couple.
I jumped ahead. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine.
Because he said that they got to the torture chamber. I was like, oh, wait, we are going to, glaze over that part.
No,
Whoops.
I'm going from my notes to the way. I don't want to leave anything out, okay? This is very complex, but yes, they break it down the door on the elderly couple having sex, and the guy starts to have a heart attack, basically, and asks for his pills. They break into right here. There, Gage finds Genevieve naked and bound once he actually goes to the torture chamber and finds them, with her mouth stitched shut, as well as 5 other teenagers who are in similar predicaments. After a brief struggle in which Captain Howdy gets shot, Mike arrests him and discovers his real name is Carlton Hendricks, which, I'd go by Captain Howdy instead as well. Mike thinks he has closed... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there's, again, this is just weird stuff where I just was getting hung up on stuff like this. It's so weirdly filmed where after they've done the raid that the cops are just staying outside afterwards and they're like, that went well. It's like the dialogue is just so canned where it sounds like they're just watching cop dramas on TV and everything, just thinking all right, I guess we'll just feed this into the machine or whatever. But then when Kevin Gage and his partner Brett Harrelson are talking, they're talking in their car, talking in a low volume or whatever. But then it cuts to a shot of their superior officer who's just standing 10 feet away from him. I'm thinking why are you cutting to him? It's you can't hear their conversation. It's just so weirdly blocked. And then he finds the real house where I feel it's important mentioning that he finds the next house because he hears he gets an instant message audio recording from Captain Howdy, and he hears a dog barking that sounds like the one that he sees across the sheet from him. And then
that's kind of clever. That's kind of clever. But
it's clever. Although that scene, I think I was talking to you, Kevin, before we started recording about how it's so weird that Gage is sending a message to him, and then he immediately gets a 30-second audio recording from Captain Howdy. I'm thinking how did Captain Howdy pre-record that message?
He had it set up. He's a mastermind, man.
It's so specifically sent to Gage that I'm just thinking, how did he record it that fast? But anyways, very weird.
Yeah. During the fight where Captain Howdy and Mike are fighting and whatnot, Mike splashes Captain Howdy with piss. That was pretty funny. Let's see. He goes to trial. He's found not...
That was foreshadowed because we saw Linda Cardellini peeing. Oh,
right.
It was so worth it.
I saw that scene and I was like, this better pay off. And boy, howdy, it does. Yeah.
Chekhov's piss.
Boy, howdy.
Chekhov's piss.
Chekhov's piss. Oh, God. No, you're fine.
Mike thinks he has closed the case, but a year later, Hendricks is declared not guilty by reason of insanity, and he is put in a psychiatric institute, only to be released 3 years later. Doctors at the institute state that Hendricks, who has been diagnosed as schizophrenic with a severe chemical imbalance, is okay as long as he is on his medication. So Hendricks moves back to his old neighborhood. While taking his medication, Hendricks is timid and apologetic about what he's done, but the memories of what Hendricks did are still fresh in the minds of the residents of the town. Many people are not happy with Hendricks' release, especially an advocate group led by Jackson Roth, played by fucking Robert Englund.
Fucking Robert Englund?
Oh my god. Oh man.
There's also the group, the woman who's part from the group Christians Against Moral Decay. That is the name of the group according to the news thing. Yeah. She's yelling you son of a bitch, you sorry son of a bitch. She's yells at him. And then what's so weird about that scene too is they show it in the news footage, D Sour's sitting in his room eating his shitty dinner, watching TV, but then they show that woman screaming at him from the exact same angle, and I'm thinking how did the cameras get that angle on the again, this is me just my brain going to stupid questions. I'm thinking I don't think the news crew was on D Center's porch seeing that woman. Anyways,
right? Yeah, very convenient shot, but they're all protesting outside of his house where somebody has a sign outside of his place that says "We're not gonna take it." You get it? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Robert Englund is playing Jackson. Captain Howdy comes out of his house and says he's sorry.
I have a quick question. Why the fuck would you move back to the same fucking house? Why would you not vacate the fucking premises? I'd be get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that is a good question. I love in movies like that. I've mentioned how in Gothica, I don't know if you've seen that, Mary Beth, where they put Halle Berry. They put Halle Berry in the same institution that she treated patients in. I love shit like that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Jackson, who is Robert Englund, is a drunk and a big, my daughter's out there and is going to get murdered, I must protect her type guy. He calls a guy and says Captain Howdy has his daughter, even though he has like no evidence of that. And she's actually just at a hotel with some guy.
Yeah, we meet her in one scene. It seems like I'm imagining, is the scene there just like so it can have like some gratuitous nudity? Because like we never meet that character again afterwards. Like she's just I gotta get home for curfew. I guess I'll sleep for a minute, and then like we never see her again. And it's
then it took me it took me a second to fucking connect who she was, because there's points in this movie where I'm like, wait, who the fuck are you? Like, they do not do a good job connecting the dots here. Like, a lot of it is like, oh wait, okay. Because they don't really tell you that girl is his daughter very clearly. Oh, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
They don't even allow Robert Englund to have any fun. I mean, maybe he did.
He had fun at one part when we get to the part.
Yes,
I was saying.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah. Jackson breaks into Howdy's house, asking for his daughter with several other guys. They kidnap Captain Howdy, and Captain Howdy's medication falls out of his pocket. And Mike is outside of the house, sees him being kidnapped, and doesn't do anything. They hang him. It starts to rain, and everybody quickly leaves. They are cool with like murdering a guy, but then they're just like, oh fuck, it's raining, we gotta get out of here.
Can I just say, I had such a galaxy brain reaction where I immediately thought of Ernest Scared Stupid, where the crowd is just chanting, kill him, kill him. And then that movie ends with Jim Varney like giving the troll a big smooch on the lips, and he explodes. And I'm just thinking, my stupid brain went, what if Kevin Gage actually got out of his car, swung him around a few times, and gave him a little smooch? It's over.
That'd be nice.
That would be great. This movie would be much better if that was the bit they committed to, honestly.
Yeah.
The tree that they hang him on, hung on breaks. He comes to, seemingly back as Captain Howdy and not as Carlton Hendricks, and he says, "What a rush!"
Yeah.
This is a question I had because I read that part in the plot synopsis on Wikipedia. Do you think the movie believes his rehabilitation is genuine, or do you think it believes that it's an act? I don't know if like Snyder's. I think it's like partly Snyder's performance is just kind of.
He didn't have his medication for 30 minutes, so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't... 30 whole minutes. We all
or
know
maybe the hanging. Yeah, maybe the hanging, like brought him back to whenever he used to, do stuff with his body and whatnot, and got him back into his personality of Captain. I don't know. Who knows? So pretty much the movie at this point is like, I guess if they don't let people rehabilitated, they will just become killers again. Jackson is at a hotel.
Or is it that the hatred that the town inflicted on him is what made him a killer again? Like, the lack of forgiveness?
Sure.
I don't know I agree. I don't know what the movie's trying to say about anything.
Which is the real Strangeland? D. Snyder's world or the world of suburbia?
Wow. Evil dies tonight. Okay. I guess... okay, this is the scene. Yeah, Jackson, Robert Englund, is at a hotel or something and is waiting for his wife to exit the bathroom to have sex. And I wrote down he's giving me all the Dale Gribble vibes in this scene, because he's like just in tidy whities and just waiting, and it's ridiculous. She leaves the bathroom.
Saying things like, I'm gonna lose my heart on, as he's like wiggling in his chair. I'm like,
come on, Nancy. Yeah, he's Dale Gribble. She leaves the bathroom, but her throat is cut, and he thinks she's dancing for some reason, but then she actually like kind of is dancing while her throat is slit. It's really funny.
But she's being puppeteered by D. Snyder.
Bizarre.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Cap Howdy's back. Captain Howdy messages Mike and says the dead are so dreadfully dead when they're dead. I don't know what that means. Mike continues being an emotionless log. Captain Howdy calls the precinct. Captain Howdy tortures Jackson. Cap keeps talking boring about people can do this and no one bats an eye, but if you get a tattoo, people freak out. Like, it's pretty cool. So I'm confused because at this point we're supposed to be rooting. Are we supposed to be like rooting for Captain Howdy at this point? Because he's like getting revenge for the people that killed him. I don't know.
All I could think of though was how quickly his hair went from being in that little ponytail to fucking red dreads and shaved again. Like, that motherfucker really just like jumped back in that shit so fast.
Yep.
Well, so he had the makeup on the tattoo, so I think he could just wash that off. But then where the fuck do you get all the jewelry back, my dude? Like, even if it didn't close up, like, wow, you really just had it ready to fucking go, and you were kind of.
And doesn't hair dye take like a long time? Isn't that like the thing I keep hearing?
Oh
about
yeah,
hair dye? Yeah.
And it's dreaded. Like, it's dreadlocked hair.
That would take not just like a few hours. That takes like several weeks. But
yes.
You know what? But yeah, like at this point, I don't know if we're supposed to be rooting for him, but I mean, like System of a Down is playing in the background, so that makes me personally think yes. So
I was mad about that. I'm like, don't play a good song with this motherfucker. I don't want to cheer for him.
Yeah. The soundtrack's great. Sorry. Elizabeth Pena shows up again, playing the thankless wife role. I completely forgot she was in this movie until she popped up again. Apparently, someone. Take a guess, checks out Genevieve from school. While they learn about this, Captain Howdy webcams with Mike and Tony. He has Genevieve. He says, so much flesh, so little time. And I said that he's basically just a Hot Topic assistant manager version of Pinhead. Yeah.
Also, how does he check her out from school? She's like 17 or 18.
And also, did he go back wearing the cardigan and whatnot to check her out? Did he show up as Captain? I have questions.
Yeah, I have serious questions. I mean, yeah, Kevin, at one point you said, I don't know what that means, and that could be applied to this whole movie.
Pretty much, yeah. We kind of touched upon it before I get to the very end here, which, is fascinating, that it pretty much loses all momentum after 40 minutes in. He gets caught. So, like, all of this just feels like, well, I know nothing bad's going to happen because we're already given false sense of hope because like 40 minutes in they already captured him and whatnot, and then you're just going to do the same exact thing again of kidnapping Linda Cardellini again, so it doesn't work. We learned that
lazy. It's so embarrassingly lazy.
Yeah.
I know. We learned that Mike's wife Tony didn't know that Mike let the mob take Captain Howdy out and hang him and didn't interfere. A couple of random cops find Captain Howdy's new hideout. They rescue everybody. Mike goes to Zabalba to see Captain Howdy. They get into a bit of a tussle while Captain Howdy literally sings Ring Around the Rosies, which is very menacing. Mike sticks a hook in Captain Howdy's back and hangs him up and sets him on fire.
And at this, the whole fight too, I'm thinking like not that I'm supporting this like it should be like careful, but I'm thinking, why doesn't Kevin Gage just like shoot D. Snyder and everything? Like instead, like they have like a drag. I feel like this is also like a problem like with a lot of action movies. Like we need to say all this like real men and have like fisticuffs. I'm thinking, just shoot him. Like I feel like it's
not as satisfying. The fires of revenge. Clint.
Yeah, it's like you tortured my daughter, so I'm gonna torture you. And like he barely, like he gets his ass kicked for most of it, and then he's just like, oh, a hook, and then puts it in his back. Yeah, and then the whole pretty much Zabalba church, whatever. Because yes, also the club in Soul Survivors is pretty much a church. Mike tells Steve, his partner, he's gonna go home to see his family, and then walks away. And then, boy howdy, that's the end.
Boy howdy.
Boy Captain Howdy. So yeah, there's D. Snyder Strangeland. I'm so upset that we have not gotten another D. Snyder joint. It's been about 24 years. I think we're due for one. But, Charlie, do you have any final thoughts about D. Snyder's Strangeland?
No, this movie sucks. It's just my final thought. I think we've covered it. Yeah.
Yeah, so did you run out and you got the soundtrack on vinyl when they re-released it? Is that what you said? You said you were going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, my bad. I said I was going to do that. My bad. Yeah.
I walked across the street from the theater to the vinyl store and was like, do you have this? And when they said no, I was like, how dare you? And just clomped away.
Check next year for the 25th anniversary. Maybe they'll
Oh, man. Can't wait. Strangeland on 4K. It's going to be great. Bryden, final thoughts?
Oh, my God.
I thought, I don't know. I thought this was really bad. And like, we were talking about the new metal music, and I feel like kind of like a similar thing with like Book of Shadows.
Hell yeah.
Blair Witch 2. Like, it's like the songs might be, I don't know, like not even like the quality of the songs is what I have a problem with. It's like they're not even used like interesting. It's often just like kind of background noise. Like I said, like the one song that stuck in my head was like the Kid Rock song. Maybe it got because I recognize the vocals or whatever. But I just feel like they could have used it to like heighten the atmosphere, and I feel like it's just kind of relegated to the background.
How many movies have we done that have a Marilyn Manson song in them?
True.
Disposable Teens and Book of Shadows. There's one
This
in
one.
this.
Soul Survivors?
I don't think so. Soul
No,
Survivors, I
there's
think-
actually not a soundtrack really in Soul Survivors besides like a Harvey Danger song and then I think a Deftones song in the credits.
Queen is a Stone Age maybe is listed in the credits, but I don't remember. It was weird. There's some of the songs on that, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know. I just, maybe you could make a good movie out of this material, but then like I started like thinking like the joke in my mind is like, yeah, you could make a good movie out of this if you recast the main roles, get a different director, rewrite the script.
I'd argue that they tried to kind of do the same thing, and it also wasn't very good. It was Untraceable with Diane Lane, kind of the same thing.
That was on cable a few weeks ago. Yeah, I didn't really pay attention.
That's not good.
But you know,
Is that her and Colin Hanks? Is that what that movie is?
Mm-hmm.
It is Colin Hanks.
Colin Hanks, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange County's own Colin Hanks. Yes. Yeah. Really no final thoughts other than this should have stayed stayed in 6th grade whenever I watched it, when I probably thought it was fucking cool, when I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rent this, and a fucking Toxic Avenger and My Little Eye. That's what I'm gonna get. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fucking yeah, hell yeah, My Little Eye.
I also haven't seen that since whenever that was. I probably should rewatch that. But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I probably put this on because I'm like, I need some garbage that has new metal in, and just nobody's doing the Lord's work nowadays. Yeah, probably. Sorry. Because I can only rewatch Book of Shadows so many times. Yeah. Mary Beth, send us out with your final thoughts.
This movie made me want to get another tattoo.
Oh,
So-
hell yeah. But wait,
my final
people do stuff and nobody blinks an eye. Everybody's going to be looking at you like a freak, man. Like,
Oh
come
man,
on.
don't worry about it. My parents already told me that. I'm used to it by now, man. Very menacing, like vegetables and moth tattoos on my arm. Very scary.
Oh God, you're in a cult, aren't you? No. No. Very nice person did this tattoo. It was actually very nice. Yeah, I remember when I got my first tattoo, I was like, Mom, I have something to tell you. She was like, did you get a girl pregnant? And I was like, what? No, I got a tattoo. And she was like, oh, thank God. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah. And then by the 15th one, they were just like, oh, did you get a new tattoo? I was like, yeah, I got that like 2 months ago. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That's where my family's also at with me. They're like, oh, is that new? I'm like, kinda. And they're like, oh, all right.
Okay, yeah. When my grandma was still alive, she was just definitely the person like, look what you did to your skin. I was like, Grandma, it's metal. Like, you don't understand. Like,
Your skin.
thank you for listening to this week's episode of Almost Major. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Please follow the pod on Twitter at Almost Major to keep up to date with what movies we will be covering in the future. Myself, I can be found on Twitter and Letterboxd at Kev Bonesy. Bryden can be found on Twitter at Bryden Doyle and on Letterboxd at J Doyle. Charlie can be found on Twitter and Letterboxd at CT Nash91. Once again, thank you for listening.